Hi, my name is SHAJIB. Sometimes the most basic question can cause us confusion. Why? Because when you have a new question like where do you live, you need to know which preposition to use the answer question correctly. So let's look at the board so that you learn answer the question correctly and confidently. So, suppose you need to give your address, the actual number where you live, the number of house. Then when you say I live at 35 Hill Street. Okay, where do you live? I live at 35 Hill Street. So you are giving the number with the street name, phone number to say at. If you just ask which street you live on, then you can say I live on Hill Street. So when you are only giving the name of street, use the preposition on. Now, just for you to know and remember, there are words basically represent the word street. You could have sometimes like street, road, avenue, drive, boulevard. Okay, I live on Hill Street. I live on San Fernando Road. I live on Fairfax Avenue. I live on Riverside Drive. I live on Hollywood Boulevard. Okay. Hi. Next, if you asked where do you live, as in the city or country, then you have to use different preposition. Then you have to use preposition in. So, where do you live? I live in Los Angeles. I live in California. I live in the US. Okay. So if you are mentioning the city, state, and the country, then you want to make sure you use in. So I live at 35 Hill Street. I live on Hill Street. I live in Los Angeles. Okay. At on in. Here are a few other points that sometimes you need to maintain some more details information. There also you need to know which preposition to use. So I live the intersection of Pine and Maple Street. So you have two street. I live on cross by. So you can say I live at the intersection of Pine and Maple Street. Okay. Or if somebody asks you which floor you live at, you can say I live on the 5th floor. I live on 6th floor. Alright. And last, you must also sometimes need to give this information, and you can say I live in an apartment. If you in England, I live in a flat. You can also say it, I live in a house. Alright. So these are the basic preposition and on in and the unit answer the fundamental question where do you live. Now to review the next, I will be giving a lateral exercise so you can practice on that. Alright, so we have two people here, Lucas and Sarah. I will ask them where do you live, and you help me to fill in the blanks and know answer the question. So Lucas, where do you live? So he says I live in Miami. Okay. Next one is the 6th floor. What does he say? I live on the 6th floor. Where do you live? 92 Bart Street. So what he say? I live at 92 Bart Street. Where do you live? I live in Florida. Kendall Drive. Sarah, where do you live? 65 Oxford Street. So she said I live at 65 Oxford Street. Where do you live? London. I live in London. Regent Street. I live on Regent Street. A rented flat. in a rented flat.